Record over on your end? I think I'm recording.
Yes.
It should say I'm recording.
It says it's recording.
Okay, good.
We're also recording.
We requested record permission.
Half of Daft Punk is here.
Okay. Tony.
Television. Okay. Yeah. Who wants to introduce the show? And what episode is this? This is 5?
We should have Mirror Man introduce it.
Yeah. Would you like to introduce the show, Mirror Man?
Welcome to 9to5 Elon, episode 5.
Wow, that's the fastest we've ever introduced the show. This is a podcast about Tesla stuff and all the other crazy things Elon Musk tweets about and is trying to do in the world, right? Sounds about right.
Yes.
I'm Asif Khan. I'm CEO, editor-in-chief at Shacknews. That was Mirror Man over there in Cincinnati.
It's Tony. I know you're surprised.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
I know.
That disguise, I was completely duped by it.
I know.
So it's Tony and Sarah there in Cincinnati.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show, Sarah. Sorry that we've had quite the hiatus here.
We were on sabbatical.
Yeah. We were all backpacking through Europe on sabbatical. And then joining us from Japan, we have Adam.
Hello.
Boom. Introduction. Done. In
We did it.
time.
Well done.
And there's my backwards sign, I think. Is it backwards?
No, it's not.
No, it's perfect.
On my screen, it looks backwards. Whatever. Okay, it's confusing. But, so yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of news this week, right?
No, nothing's been happening. It's quiet. All quiet in the Tesla news front.
You guys doing your Halloween stuff? Because apparently Halloween's now on October 26th.
Yeah.
We had double Halloween parties yesterday for
Cincinnati does everything on actual Halloween, so
Very traditional. It's
Okay,
Cincinnati.
cool.
rain
Yeah.
or snow or shine, you'd go out on.
I mean, Canton, I think the drunk driving, it really kicks off on the weekend. And then it continues all the way till the 31st.
Yeah.
So
That's really funny because the Lyft driver app keeps reminding me, like, you can make the most money right now.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
On the road with your Model 3 cashing in.
Ooh.
Potentially getting the Model 3 vomited on.
Well, here's some breaking
Yeah.
news out of Canton. We have Lyft XL and Uber XL now.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, we're moving
Okay.
up in the world.
You guys.
And I was in Cleveland, and they have Uber Black now. So
Ooh.
we're really, I'm sure Lyft probably has some equivalent, right?
Yeah, Lyft,
Yeah.
that would be what the Model 3 would drive for. A Lyft, what's it called? Lyft
Premium, I think.
It's called.
Lyft Premium. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're moving up in the world. We're now at, I think, 2016 levels of Uber service in Northeast Ohio. So
Yes.
That's
and
pretty
Lyft.
good though.
I'm excited. And yeah, we have Uber Eats and all those different dashing of doors and hubbing of grubs. So it's like
Uber
it's
Eats is
almo-
really popular here now.
Yeah, it's more popular than Uber in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Hell, I
it's-
used it. I probably used it like 6 times while I was over there.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty convenient.
Yeah, they use bikes, so it's
Yeah.
it's actually kind of green, I would say.
Hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
bad for them though, because I'm like watching them on the map, and it's like pouring rain, and I'm like, oh man, that guy's riding his bike over the hotel, and it's raining.
They do that downtown.
But yeah, so you got a decent backup plan there, Tony, to be a Lyft driver. You haven't
Yeah.
you haven't taken any
I'm still
fares
too
yet?
scared to, no, I'm still too scared to actually enable the app, but
What are you afraid of? People tracking you or letting people in your car?
I have this like fear that the only ride will be like, you need to go get someone in Dayton or in Columbus.
You don't have to accept any rides, right?
I know you don't have to accept them, but I imagine it somehow affects my score. I don't know. I'm unnecessarily afraid of it.
I don't think the
I need
Lyft
to
app
do it.
is going to tell you you're in Cincy. I don't think they're going to tell you to pick up someone in Dayton. They might
You'd
tell
be
you to pick
shocked
up. They might
how
tell you to
large
pick. No, but they might
the
tell you to
area
pick up someone in Cincy
And
and
take them.
drive to Dayton, and you'll
Yeah.
find that out when you get to the pickup spot. Yeah, I think that's how those apps work, right? Like
I
you
don't know how they work.
No,
No, you
know,
can put in your.
you know the route.
destination.
You know where they're trying to get to, and you'd be surprised how giant the coverage map is for me when I look in the app.
Oh, I'm sure, because Ohio is like still figuring this out. Like, there's a lot of people who aren't doing this yet. So I think that there's an opportunity there.
Our problem is that you have to drive halfway into Kentucky. Because we're like right on the edge. So that's the fear, is you gotta go south.
Into Kentucky, where I hadn't driven.
World.
Where I hadn't driven in weeks. And the second that I did, I got a flat tire. I got a nail through the tire.
Yeah. That's the worst.
Never again.
I tweeted all about it. It was quite the experience. I had to instruct the techs at tire discounters. It was a whole day-long saga.
Oh, I feel your pain.
Did you sell a few cars while you were there?
Sarah brought me my own jack to tire discounters. You know what a buffoon I looked like at tire discounters with my own car jacked up? With my own jack at a tire shop?
Did they pay you for your services?
No, they should have. It was like
honestly,
basically like an hour tech training. Here's the jack.
They sound this way. They're the ones who kind of sound like the buffoons if you needed to bring your own jack there.
Yeah, but it was me in front of the docking bay at tire discounters jacking my own car up.
But they had the tire?
Sounds like something you would do.
They didn't. They were able to patch the tire, but they did have to remove like a fist-sized ball of foam.
Oh man!
From the.
Can you notice the sound? Does it sound different?
$30 is way better than $320. No, and the I actually watched the guy balance it. There was no noticeable anything. It's good. It operates completely the same as it did before, and I didn't have to spend $320. So
that's good.
3 hours of your time.
Yeah,
training all of
those tires are expensive.
Yeah.
Those foam-filled tires are very expensive. That's what I learned.
Yeah, you have the 18-inch tires, right?
Yeah, but they're still expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you made it out of Kentucky, because that can be a dangerous place.
I escaped.
It
was a slow leak.
We went back yesterday and luckily came out unscathed.
Yep, we're fine.
What are you doing going back there?
His mother lives there.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Why do they do this?
I don't know.
That seems wrong. I don't know, Tony.
The cost of living? I don't know.
Lower than Ohio?
Yeah, Kentucky, for sure. Yeah.
I guess it is Kentucky. All four of our Kentucky listeners are going to be furious.
4. I don't know.
There are lovely parts of Kentucky.
They love Teslas in Kentucky.
No, you don't have to worry about them. They don't have internet, so it's fine. It's totally fine.
It might show up on, I don't know. How do people find podcasts without the internet?
Phone. Through their phone.
Word of mouth.
Through the Apple Podcast app or the, I forget what it's called for Android.
They have one Facebook account that they share at the Kentucky Public Library.
They're allowed to use podcast people at the Kentucky Public Library.
Oh man, we should stop shitting. We should stop crapping on Kentucky.
It's got AOL dial-up.
Oh man,
Mosaic. You can only access it with Mosaic web browser.
Oh jeez, we're all terrible.
I'm sure it's great.
Great people doing great things.
I've got just a funny anecdote about Japan. I was at Emma's preschool Halloween party at the preschool, and they had 2 kegs and a ton of alcohol and like many bottles of wine. So all the parents are pretty lit.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Like you do for child outings.
This is a trend on this podcast. It seems like every other episode, Adam's talking about how they get wasted at a preschool event.
Did I mention that previously?
Yes.
That's what happens.
I think you were kind of hungover from that, like while we recorded. I can't remember. It must have been episode 3 or 2, but this all sounds very familiar to me.
Yeah.
Well, one of the parents is a liquor distributor.
There it is.
So I don't know if that's the reason, or if it would happen anyway.
Dress up for this party? That would add another.
Some of them did. Yeah. Not everyone. I was a cat because that was the most expedient.
Just put some ears on.
Yep. painted on my face with a marker that was not meant for my skin, and I really wanted to scratch it off because it was super itchy, but then it would ruin my costume.
I mean, you already got some whiskers on your face right now. Seems like excessive.
That's true. I didn't need to do anything.
Redundant.
Yeah, that is redundant.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
All
cool.
right, we should probably talk about
here
stuff.
Oh no, let's jump into our general news real quick.
All right.
I'm gonna share my screen. Let me know if this looks okay. California's on fire, you guys.
Yeah,
seen
I
this?
know.
It's
I
bad.
don't like it. I keep checking in with.
That is
crew
a
out there.
scary photo.
Yeah, this is a road in Northern California. Courtesy of Getty Images, please don't sue us. Greg he's basically trapped. Our video editor, he's stuck in Las Vegas right now.
He went from throwing axes in a blazer
Mhm.
to stuck in a wildfire.
It's almost like karma got him, for throwing that axe while wearing a blazer.
I really liked it. That's not karma. I
You
thought
liked it?
It was a great style choice. I tweeted about it.
You threw some aristocracy shade at him.
I loved it.
Okay, it didn't come off as love over Twitter, but then again, it's hard to understand context on Twitter because it's just words, right?
Yeah.
That tone is.
It's
Out the
impossible to sense. But yeah, Greg is stuck in. I don't know. As of last night, he was stuck in Las Vegas because he's supposed to be flying into Santa Rosa, which is like just north of Sonoma, and Sonoma's on fire. He might have to fly into like Oakland or San Francisco, but then he has to drive up home, and the highways might be blocked by fire too. And then there's also fire going on in Southern California.
Yeah.
But this is all because PG&E? Is that their name? They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're like the worst company, and it's like basically a monopoly of sorts. Like they're the power company, deal with it.
Yeah.
And this is now, I think, the third time this fall where they've had to shut off power places because they're afraid of more fires happening.
It's the combination of the high winds, right? And the
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like California's just becoming a desert. It's always kind of been on this trend, and it just seems like that's continuing. So get the hell out of California if you live there. I don't know what you're doing.
Or buy Tesla Powerwalls.
Yeah, but a Tesla Powerwall is still going to melt when your house burns down.
If you are directly in the path of the fire.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, this seems to be a trend. Like,
the whole world's burning. So
the whole world is burning, but Northern California seems to be burning more than Northeast Ohio right now.
It's at a higher rate.
Yeah, the
for
conditions make the burning much faster.
And it's also like this is a growing climate. This is where a lot of marijuana is grown, and a lot of
strawberries.
Wine. Huh? Strawberries.
And
strawberries
and garlic.
Grapes.
Garlic.
A ton of wineries are here. This is
Avocados.
Oh yes, don't forget the avocados.
Northern
California, known for its outdoor avocados.
Now I'm hungry for avocados, Tony.
Sorry.
What do avocados cost in Japan? Like
$9 each. $9.
If you're lucky, you can find one for $1.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's like what it is
basically
here.
Ours.
Then why do grapes cost so much?
They're not even that good.
I don't know,
They're really
they're
nice
all water
grapes.
too. Take a longer time to grow.
They're impressive grapes.
Next time you come, we can try some $20 or $50 grapes, and you can
You can make wine out of grapes, but you can't make wine out of avocados.
That's right.
Avocado wine might be the next big trend.
It probably already is a thing in California.
Yeah. Not anymore. Now that all the avocados burned.
That was really expensive.
Way to go, fire. Stay safe, Northern California and Southern California and Central California. If you're on fire too, I'm sure you will be soon. PG&E.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, PG&E, like, why don't we have death penalties for companies? Like, this company is so horrible. Like, this idea that we're gonna just let them continue to exist after 2 years in a row of just fires, like, no. Die. This company needs to die. It should be put into receivership. There should be like a new company built that actually is like designed to care about people. I don't know. This is just it's ridiculous. So yeah. That's our first general news hit, and then let me see, share. You guys see this StarLink?
Yes, very exciting.
Yes.
2020, we might have internet here in Canton, Ohio that isn't potato internet. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I would definitely be a StarLink subscriber at my house because I get like 50 megs down, or I think it's 100 now, but it's never really 100.
No, it's more like 17.
And then it says 6 up, right? I've never got 6 up in my life at that house. It's like 3, which is just pathetic.
You're basically not able to stream.
I can't stream from my house, which sucks because I have like a perfect setup for it. And then like I even doing general work like this, like I'm gonna upload this podcast today. It would take me like 4 times as long to do it, or maybe even longer, like 100 times longer, because I'm dealing with like a 40 upload here at least.
They mentioned the military tested it on like a plane, and they got like 600 some megabit.
Yeah,
even while in flight.
It's pretty crazy.
I don't know what the upload speed was.
This could crush GoGo, is what you're telling me. Do you guys know what I'm talking
maybe
about?
Of course we know GoGo. We fly Delta.
I mean, if they can put the satellite device on the airplanes without affecting the way they fly, I guess should kill them.
Yeah, so
it's like pizza box sized.
Yeah, you're right. It would require some infrastructure and some effort on the part of airlines, which, I'm not going to be super surprised if it doesn't happen quickly. But then Elon could just make his electric jet that he's been talking about and have that be Starlink in
Yeah, that will probably happen.
So yeah, no,
but I guess if they put it on the military plane, I guess they'll probably be the airlines will probably be excited to use it, right?
Hopefully. But yeah, SpaceX continues to do awesome things, and it's exciting. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on this. When like signups happen and stuff, we'll try to let Shackers know. There's a lot of SpaceX fans in the chatty.
So are they going to throw receivers in the pillar on the Model Y coming out, Starlink connection?
There was an old conference call where someone asked about using
are they going to dump AT&T and go with their own service? That would make a lot of sense.
They've said probably not, because the receiver's big enough that it wouldn't integrate well with the car. Maybe you could throw it underneath the frunk or something. I don't know.
When you think about a sat phone, and even like an old sat phone, they're not that big. You could throw that in there's lots of space in that.
Yeah.
On a 3, that'll be something.
Maybe they'll at least use it for Wi-Fi at all the superchargers or something.
Yeah, because it's stationary.
Yeah.
But if you're able to get it Starlink on a plane, you could easily get it on a car. But I don't know, maybe it's an altitude thing too, though.
No, I don't think. I think
it'll work.
Could.
But I don't know. We'll find out. If they can figure out how to make the receiver smaller, we'll see.
When that Starlink news broke, I thought for sure they're going to announce we're cutting ties with AT&T, and we're going to cut ties with Panasonic.
Or maybe they can negotiate some terms where, like, they provide the Starlink internet to like AT&T or some other cell phone network, and they're still connecting over the cell phone network, but then they use the back end of Starlink, and maybe they could reduce their fees that way somehow. Maybe,
I mean, AT&T has a lot of spectrum, so
yeah,
as a company like Tesla is scaling, I think it makes sense. To not have to scale their internet service along with their car production.
If they're good, I mean, they might end up turning off Netflix on the LTE, but if they leave it on, that's got to be expensive. So they're going to want to switch it to something else at some point.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
just fees, just money going out the door that you're paying that you don't need to some other service.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move us to the next story. We're just trucking along here, folks.
Do it.
Elon Musk. I am an effing idiot.
Are we family friendly?
Oh no, sorry. He's a fucking idiot, according to himself.
Well, I thought we were going to try to go family friendly.
Really? It's in the headline. It's Gizmodo. They such language.
You're just reading.
I'm just reading here,
Direct
folks.
Quote. Direct quote.
It's a quote. This is
Direct
Elon Musk saying this about himself. Yeah, he I think he regrets the Ambien-laden rants that he had about the diver in the cave in Thailand.
Yeah, well, yeah,
probably.
All the details of that whole story came out. Like they shared a little more, and
he says it's one of the dumbest things he's ever done.
Yeah, it seems like he went along with it, but he was a little bit duped by a reporter that said, "Hey, I'll help you get the scoop on this guy."
Not a reporter, a guy who claimed he
private investigator.
Was a private investigator, or maybe he is. I don't know.
Yeah, he had hired for $50,000.
But the guy was just lying.
Yeah,
I mean,
so he basically
he
duped Elon out of $50K, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what happens when you have $1 billion. You can just throw $50,000 at a guy to investigate someone. Not a good look, Elon. But yeah, we can move on. I just thought it was worth mentioning that Elon called himself an idiot. And then during this similar, was this the case about it was the defamation case, right? It has a solid derp face on his part. He says that he is low on cash and assets that could be quickly turned into cash. I have to call BS here. He has $1 gajillion worth of Tesla stock, and he can easily sell it on the open market.
It's very unfortunate that you're pulling up Business Insider articles.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do? This is the only okay. I'm sorry.
It is almost gone full onion at Business Insider. Just go to their homepage. I want to bring up the recall right now.
I'm not going.
The sticker recall.
Do it. Go. Bring it up. Bring it up. No, I want to see it. I want to see the article.
I'm not going to give them another page view.
Just Google it, and you can read the headline from Google, but not click on it.
This is a dangerous game. Okay, here we go.
Oh man.
Oh, this is al-Baghdadi has been killed. The war on terror is over, guys. Sweet.
Is it on the front? Was it on the front page?
What?
The sticker recall for what? 78 or 87 cars? I forget. 78 or 87.
It was. Okay. It was at one time.
Yeah, Business Insider, they're moving. They're moving quickly here. So enough of that.
Anyway,
you know what,
for
Tony?
Those that don't know,
the plate. You know how many outlets use Business Insider to post PR?
A lot.
So it's like, yes, I use Business Insider because I work in the freaking media.
Oh, I know.
I cover businesses.
I was just being funny. But the 89 sticker recall story is one of my favorites.
Let me see if I can find this.
That one lit Twitter ablaze. Tesla Twitter went nuts.
Tesla recalls. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. God, stop. I block ads on this site, but
Who wrote the story?
I'll tell you in a second. Graham Rapier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
There's some people on Business.
Tesla has recalled.
Publish negative news on 89. Tesla.
Not 89,000. Not 8,900.
And it's for a sticker.
89.
A warning sticker at that.
Caution!
Tesla. Airbag may deploy when in an accident.
I saw Frunk Puppy and many other Tesla Twitter personalities posting that please send us the stickers and envelopes and we will deliver them. We will hand deliver them to all the people missing the stickers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a step up from when they delivered my Model S and it didn't have a spoiler.
Oh yeah.
They didn't recall it. They're just like, hey, do you have a spoiler on your car? I was like, I go out in my garage. I'm like, no. They're like, oh, we're gonna need you to come in so we can install it. I'm just saying, like, this is a little less. This is ridiculous.
Speaking of which, did you ever get your rims?
I'm getting them this week.
Oh,
finally!
Did they contact you or did you contact them?
I contacted them because I've had several issues with my Model X because it is, as Elon called it, the Fabergé egg of cars.
Yeah.
The window
door sensors, man.
You saw the door sensor crap.
Yeah.
So I sent you the link. I believe I sent you a link to a Rich Rebuilds post, YouTube video from a couple weeks ago. He's been pretty quiet doing his shop stuff, but they did like a 30-minute let's walk around an X and take the doors apart and show you why there's all these problems with it. They pulled apart a Signature Series 1 like live on the YouTube stream, and
Well, that would be funny. Really old.
Yeah,
so they probably make tons of changes.
There are tons of changes, but the doors still have some like design flaws that
definitely.
I mean, they're just very complicated. All the stuff they do is like amazing, right? Open on their own, the gull wing doors, all those sensors that keep it from bumping things. Like there's just a lot that can go wrong with it.
Yeah.
And you actually tear apart the door and look at like things that are glued versus things that are tacked versus
but you know, I've talked about one of my problems, the window, where especially when it's wet, it doesn't roll up all the way. It get all the way to the top and then it cuts down to the half point. So I found my hack for it is that once it gets past the half point, I just start tapping it and then it'll close. But
it's like it's like getting your auto update. It's like getting your update to go. You got to click 2-minute countdown. It's the same thing.
So that was driving me nuts because it's raining here in Ohio now. It's going to be a problem. I also the door sensors were driving me nuts.
On the front doors or the Falcon wings?
It's actually both now. It's the driver's side Falcon wing and the driver's side door are both just tweaked out when it comes to the door sensor. What's weird is it's not the Autopilot sensors.
Yeah.
Autopilot still works fine.
No, it's completely normal that it's the doors. It's a separate system.
Okay.
I know that since I watched the Rich Rebuilds video.
I don't have time. So yeah, I
2x, man. You'll get all the knowledge. Just twice
watching it 2x. I hate that argument. It's like just listen to the podcast at 3x. It sounds like the Micro Machine Man talking. Like,
we're making an argument for people not to listen to this podcast right now.
Yes.
Listen to it at 2x. It's fine.
Just do it at 8x.
Yeah, just listen to our podcast.
There's no 8x.
It'll take like 4 minutes. And then what was the other thing? Tony, you ran into that. Well, you drove my car.
Yes.
You were up here a couple weeks ago, and you drove the X, and you noticed when you were accelerating rapidly that there was like a little...
Yeah, there was a floppy sound I got underneath your car, and you have a fastener that's missing, which is also a very common problem because sometimes the fasteners don't get connected all the way, so the front battery cover lip is missing a...
So yeah, that is making noise when I brake abruptly and when I accelerate abruptly. So that's the third thing that I want them to fix.
Are you going to Cleveland or are they coming to you? Or?
Nah, everything I need to get done, like they're going to have to put me on a lift because then I'm also going to get my rims that I paid for in December of last year. Finally.
Are they the black ones or
yes.
Black ones. So what are they going to do with the other rims?
Good. I don't know.
Do you get to keep them or are they taking them back?
So. I would imagine they're going to take them back and clean them and, refurb them or something.
Make sure you keep them and then you give them to me so I can put my winter.
Could you fit
they would be too big for your car, right?
I don't think you can fit those.
Maybe
you could. I'm sorry, your X.
They're 20s, right?
Yeah, they're 21.
If it was 19s off your S, I believe those would fit me.
The 19s off my S would fit, but those are not. They're not coming off that car.
I know.
That car hasn't even moved.
I know.
I feel bad.
I saw your flat tire.
It's a museum piece.
It kind of is. I just walk by it. It's like my 64 DD. I just walk by it and nod approvingly at it. I thought about driving it the other day. I was like, because like the door thing was bothering me. And you know what? Here's what happened. I went up to Akron to go to Guitar Center to buy some stuff instead of going to Amazon, Tony.
Good.
Right? So fighting the power.
Driving
to another corporation.
Fight the power.
Yeah, I went to Guitar Center. It's about a 30-minute drive from here, right?
Should have gone to Woodsies in Kent.
That's even further.
Oh, man.
God, you're making me go to Kent?
Yeah.
Who has time to schlep all the way to Kent? So yeah, I get in the car. I do my autopilot thing. I get all the way up to Akron with it, basically. It's great. On the way back, I get on. This is over, Cleveland Massillon Road. Just like past Summit Mall. I'm coming back on 77 South. I get on the on-ramp. I enable autopilot. There's no one in front of me. And it goes like 0 to 65. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, you guys talked about this on your road trip. It like just slows down to 40 miles per hour for no reason.
Was it an overpass?
It was a dip.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm driving the rest of this.
The computer sees as a cliff.
Yeah, it thinks it's like a
maybe.
That you're
it was like, oh my God, we're gonna die. And then this was like,
was there like a shadow or something in the dip?
It was dark. It was nighttime.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was. It gets dark here pretty early now, so it was like 8 o'clock at night. So yeah, it was sucked because I had this like lovely autopilot trip up to Akron, and then that happens right as I get on the highway. I'm like, nope, I'm driving.
Then you're terrified. Yeah, then you're scarred.
I'm like, I don't trust you, robot car.
We've been having ours take over while we're driving. Like, I've had that happen a couple times, and it's like so loud and jarring. Like, if my windows are down, people around me are like, "What is happening?"
Bang,
And
bang.
I'm like, "What?"
I think it's that loud though because you got the radio up really loud.
No, it's not. You can have the radio low or whatever. It's just the
loud.
alert sound is like super freaking loud.
Does Joe mode turn that down?
Turn on Joe mode. Adam knew exactly where we were going with that one. Turn that Joe mode.
Yeah. Did it
For the
work?
children.
I don't have Joe mode on because I like having that feature, but yeah,
No, it'll just be lowered volume.
my problem with it. My problem with it is that there's a lot of streets in Canton that don't really have shoulders or anything.
Yeah.
So it's like freaking out whenever I'm on like certain streets. I was on like Portage or something, and it was like we had to adjust your car to avoid an accident. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, and ours is because everywhere around here has street parking, so like you're really close to like where people are parked on the shoulder, kind of.
Yep.
So I feel like it's like there's no lane, there's nowhere to go, and I'm like, just let me drive. Like,
speaking to that, I was over by the Football Hall of Fame, and you know Broad Street.
Yeah.
It's like the worst, right? It's like one of the worst streets in Canton. There's always cars parked on either side. I'm like, this would be a good place to test Autopilot out. It is freaking out. Every other car that it drives by, it's like, no, there's a car there. It's like, it's not sure if they're moving or what. Yeah. It's just hilarious.
I love that you're testing. You were so afraid to test it. Now look at you. You're like,
oh, dude, I drive Autopilot. I drive Autopilot on Fulton all the time now. I autopiloted on the way here.
I know it's addicting to test.
You might as well, because anytime you grab the wheel, it gets sent to them, right? As you disabling the system.
So, you guys know over on Fulton where there's that turn on the hill by my house, right? When you're coming from where Adam used to live over to my house. Yeah. The car, man, it is struggling with that bend because it's a bend and a hill, right?
Yeah.
I would say it's about 30% of the time it's able to do it, which is a dangerous thing because I'm going 45 miles an hour around a bend, and then it's like, I'm like, oh god. So I
are you on 10.2? Are you on the?
I can tell you right now.
We're on 12.2.
You know what? 12?
I can look at. I'll have to look at my app.
I believe it's 12.2.
I am at 2019.32.12.2.
At 12.2. Yeah, there's a .3 and a .4 now.
No, I haven't got them yet because we're in Ohio.
Finally, when you're stopped, the like jiggling has changed. Where like run around you. That finally went away.
I took a picture though because I parked last night in my garage, and I like before I parked, I was still in drive. It always says a semi is in front of me when I get home. So I'm like, there's still some things where I'm like, yes, that is a brick wall in front of me, not a semi Tesla. So the visualization is better. And it has oncoming traffic now. Which
it looks awesome.
It's appreciated.
And you can move the view while you're going.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can. Because it's
because yours isn't a touch screen.
Mine's not on the touch screen. It's on my...
It's such a drag.
Oh, it's
on
cool.
my HUD. So maybe they'll bring that over to the touch screen.
Maybe.
They'll
just redesign it.
They'll just get rid of my
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, kind of jumping ahead, Elon did say that they make the Model S and X just out of sentimental feelings. He's like, we really don't need to make these cars anymore.
Right.
He's like, we're a Model 3 company.
They're labors of love, but once the Y comes out, once the truck comes out.
Yeah, once the Y comes out, that'll be a bigger business. They think it's going to be a bigger business than all of their other cars combined.
Yeah, I know. But the market share is it's going to be too much for them.
At the end of the day, Elon made these cars, the S and the X, for himself, right?
Yeah.
And the Roadster for himself. So I feel like he's not driving a 3 around. So at some point, he's going to.
Well, he has both.
Yeah,
so does who's the head designer? He has both. The S and the 3. Franz.
Yeah. Franz.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, I think they like the S.
Yeah. It's like
they'll keep it around.
The S is amazing.
I see a lot of them around here.
Oh, the S it's still growing in popularity. I just thought that was like a funny throwaway comment that he made. It's like, yeah, we don't really need to make these cars anymore. And then like, meanwhile, everyone's trying to beat the S. The Taycan's gonna beat the S, you know? And I'm like, meanwhile, Tesla's like, we're focused on 3, we're focused on Y, we're focused on the China ramp, focused on really important things. But
well, they are gonna make the new one with the Roadster technology in the S.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to that car.
That'll be really awesome.
Let's see. So yeah, we hit all the. We did.
What about Gigafactory 3?
Oh no, that was general news. That was general news.
Oh, general.
We hit all the general news. You know, it's almost like I put show notes in Slack for us.
It's almost like that.
We're hitting Tesla news next. So the first bit of Tesla news before we get to the earnings report, which I'd say is going to be the meatiest topic that we have today. Gigafactory 4 in Europe to start production on Model 3 and Y in 2019. It's exciting.
2021.
Sorry, 2021. I can't read.
I mean, at the rate they've been doing stuff fast, it might start in 2019.
No. That's China fast. You can build quickly in China, but in Europe, probably not.
I kind of wondered about how long if it's going to start making cars in 2021, they're going to have to start building the factory quite soon.
Yeah, they haven't even selected a site yet.
I mean, maybe they're just going to duplicate the China factory exactly, but I kind of doubt the labor will work as quickly.
They just say Europe. Is it going to be Germany?
If they want things to go on time, they should do
probably Germany.
They currently have a factory in the Netherlands, so I'm not sure.
It could be the Netherlands. It could be Germany. France was offering like a former nuclear power plant site for free, I think, and like the France-Germany border.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be a lot like how they picked the China thing. It'll be based on how cheap they can make it, how affordable it can be made,
and whether if it'll get fast tracked. They might pick that location first,
and if it'll work for an all-in-one design.
Yeah,
but that's exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah, that is really cool.
And then let's just jump to the meat of this podcast. Tesla stock jumped, mega jump, tiger uppercut on earnings.
2 days in a row.
Yeah, but that first pop after hours is what I captured here.
Yeah.
This was 10% in like 4 minutes because they were profitable. They were cash flow positive. You're talking about $6.61 billion was what was expected in revenue.
Yeah.
So I guess technically they missed on revenue. And they beat materially on earnings, and that's really what drove the stock was that, you know this story. Tesla, doesn't have enough money, is gonna go bankrupt, all that crap. They increased their cash holdings by $383 million in the quarter to $5.3 billion. We mentioned this, I think, before we started the show. Model Y is ahead of production schedule. So it's expected to start by summer 2020 now.
Well, it'll be at a run rate of at least 1,000 a week by summer 2020.
Yeah. But I guess that's like substantial production is expected by summer.
Yeah.
Compared to the year ago quarter, the percentage of leased vehicles has tripled. I thought that was interesting. I'm sure that's a function.
That's probably one reason their earnings missed because of
or their revenue
leasing.
missed. The revenue.
Yeah, revenue.
Yeah, revenue with lease accounting. Lease accounting is like a snowball, So it's like as you gain it just gets bigger and bigger as it rolls down the hill. It's something that iPhone actually experienced because of the subsidies when it launched, and that created this like lag effect to the success of the iPhone. So we're seeing something similar there. Other thing with revenue recognition, I'm glad you brought that up, Ab. Smart Summon, I think contributed like it was like 30 to 50 million or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the revenue recognition from full self-driving is starting to hit also as Smart Summon is put out into the world. Energy deployment reached an all-time high of 477 megawatt hours in Q3. They're still confident in exceeding the 360,000 deliveries this year.
Yeah, as long as China's making a decent number of cars, that'll be easy. If it's not, it would be difficult.
And yeah,
yeah.
And then trial production of the Model 3 in Shanghai has begun. It's ahead of schedule because China.
There's been spy videos of those driving all around the parking lot.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll jump back into the conference call notes here in a second. But yeah, so for me, the reason I think the stock went up was the cash flow. And they're
not going to die if they're making money.
It's not even that. It's just it's been the narrative that they're not profitable and they're not managing their cash well. They can never sell the car at a profit. They can never do this. They can never do that. And even when earlier this year, I think after the first quarter that they reported, when I sold my stock temporarily, I was like, I'm going to get out of this for a second. They needed cash, right? Like I was like, they're not going to get to the Shanghai launch without about $2 billion, right? And they raised more than that. That was not a problem. And now we got to that ramp. Yeah. I guess the other thing that they said, I want to say it was on the conference call, they expect all quarters going forward to be cash flow positive. And I was like, whoa. And I think that's really what scared shorts, is that the biggest Tesla Q thing was that they don't have enough money. The Shanghai factory is really just a patch of dirt. Yeah. Like all these things.
Any success will just be temporary because they're not efficient enough.
Yes. And then meanwhile, ahead of schedule, here's the Shanghai factory. Oh, by the way, we cut costs to be more efficient. And I think that we're seeing that. $5.3 billion is a lot of money. You know, they do have something like let's see if I can find their balance sheet here. It's like over 20 billion of debt. But, you know, you're talking about a equity of like over 60 billion now. So it's not hard for them to service their debt. They're not a going concern. They haven't been a going concern since 2012, in my opinion. And it's just been this story that is, you know, on Business Insider, on CNBC every freaking week. We're
completely fueled by traditional car makers and the fossil fuel companies. That's why.
Absolutely.
That's why that story exists.
But yeah, I saw one tweet where Tesla Q was going to be mad that in one photo the Tesla sign was supposed to be on that side of the building, but now in the final design it's over here.
Yeah.
So they're really nitpicking for anything.
Great.
Yeah, you can just look at this. Like, we had a thread on the chatty, which I'm sure none of you saw because you guys don't read the forum. But it was really.
I only
good.
Read your posts.
Yeah, well, you didn't see that one. I said that I can't think of a company with better revenue growth prospects than Tesla. And this trailing, you look at this just chart of deliveries. I remember, Adam, when we first got long this stock for clients, when we were investment advisor representatives, it was $19, $20 a share. And we did the math. We're like, if Tesla ships 20,000 cars in 2013, they're going to be fine. Right. And like, we saw what happened. It's just hilarious now that we're talking about them shipping 360,000 cars. You know, like it's amazing how far they've come in that time and what that means from a revenue standpoint. But yeah, from a balance sheet standpoint, they still do have a lot of debt. If we're talking total liabilities, that's long-term, that's short-term, that's current liabilities. You're talking about $23 billion of debt. That's still way less than most other auto companies of their size. And when I say size, I'm talking about market capitalization. You're talking about Ford, you're talking about GM, you're talking about Chrysler. I guess Chrysler's not really a car company. Fiat.
FCA.
Yeah. When you look at that, I think they're going to be pretty good. You know, you're talking about a company that's now profitable. Automotive gross margins are right where they said they would be, which is amazing. It is. I think that their margins to me resemble a tech company more.
It's great because they cut prices, you know, after the tax.
It also is a tech
went
company.
down.
It's a software company more than all these other things. And that's been one of the big short stories. Like, they don't know how to manufacture. They're not going to be able to figure it out. Mm-hmm. It's like, clearly, if you get enough consultants from robotics companies, you're going to be able to put together a manufacturing line that is successful.
Yep.
We're the only company making anywhere near this amount of electric cars outside of one or two in China. Mm-hmm. And those are much simpler, crappier cars.
Yeah, so I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So you've looked at the balance sheet. I don't know where marketing would normally end up in this balance sheet, but it's a pretty big deal that they basically update 3 websites and design a little bit of merchandise. They literally spend nothing on marketing. But
I wonder if Elon's the one.
Car makers, traditional car makers, that would be such a huge percentage.
Oh no, you're and now an expense like that's going to show up not on the balance sheet. It's going to show up on the income statement. So if you look at their income statement, is somewhere down here.
You're paying somebody to put this report together and keep the website updated.
Yeah, their number one cost of revenues are the sales staff and leasing. But yeah, operating expenses, there is no marketing costs. Their largest expenses are SG&A, but they were able to take that down from the previous quarter and from the previous year. You know, they spent $730 million on SG&A, selling general administrative. And in the third quarter of 2018, right? In the third quarter of 2019, they only spent 596 on that. So these are the efficiencies that are popping up on that. But yeah, you're right. Like I mentioned that, like, how many companies can spend $0 on marketing and grow revenues at this pace? Like, not a whole lot. So, you know, it's weird. And yeah, you know, technically, I guess revenues were down year over year.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense for a few reasons. They cut prices because of the tax credit reduction, and SNX didn't sell as many. And back a year ago, they were only selling high-end Model 3s into the U.S., basically. They were all like all-wheel drive and performance, like a huge percentage.
Yeah.
So and then leasing.
Lease accounting, lease accounting is going to create this lag. You know, between full self-driving revenue recognition and lease revenue recognition, it's going to be a lag to how this stock how revenue is going to appear on the income statement. But for the 9 months, for this first 9 months of the year, Tesla is still ahead revenue-wise from where they were last year. They had 11.5 last year at this time. They're at 13.8. So it's still growing. That's kind of my point.
Yeah. Plus, solar and batteries are growing really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that could actually start to make an impact.
Yeah, we can actually jump over to the conference call, which I took detailed notes. Did you see?
Look at you. Jeez.
You did. That's something.
This was live blogged on Shacknews.com.
Your detailed notes were so good that Sarah was like, I can't even look at these.
She just dropped the mic and ran
She was
away.
like, I'm out.
So yeah, you know, Elon thanks the team. They talked a little bit about the Gigafactory and the speed of the bill out. He said Model Y is ahead of production, and he expects the car to outsell S, X, and 3 combined. That was pretty crazy.
It's not crazy at all if you look at the market share for SUVs. It's
I know, but
and they said they expect.
It's crazy obvious how successful it's going to be. I just feel like it's just a no-brainer.
Especially if it turns out to be better than what they showed, like if it's using batteries.
I love, there was such FUD this week about the Y. Who was I can't remember who it was now. It wasn't Business Insider. Someone else posted an article that was like, yet to be released Y details. There's no details about the Y, but they're still trying to sell it. It's like you can go configure it on the website right now. Like the S ballpark. Just look at the 3. You know, it's the 3 framework.
It's bigger 3.
Getting back to what I was saying about revenue growth,
Yeah.
When you have the CEO tell you that there's a product coming that will outsell all of their other products combined, and it's not going to cannibalize them materially, you can't help but be like, huh, they're probably going to experience like triple-digit revenue growth percentage-wise. Like at least 100% in the next few years. And like, I can't name another company. Can you name another company doing that?
I know.
No, it's actually not a company that's doing anything important.
Even like the worst companies in the world, like even oil companies, even banks, like even tech companies, like Apple, struggling to grow revenues single digits. Microsoft, they're not growing that fast. Google's not growing that fast. Amazon, right? All they do is take share away from people. They're not growing this fast.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like the most innovative companies in the world, allegedly, the oldest, stodgiest companies. Like someone replied to me in the thread, "Oh, GE might grow that fast." I'm like, please. I just said, I was like, so yeah, that's what I mean. Like I
don't mean to laugh like that. That's an interesting thought.
No, I get it. And like GE is in the gutter right now, but I wouldn't buy that stock at all. There's so many problems at that company. They have sold, because they had so much debt, they sold off all their most profitable divisions, all their fast-growing divisions. They sold off healthcare. They sold off energy. They sold off NBC Universal.
Capital's
still there. Or did they spin that off?
No. Synchrony Bank became.
Oh, so they spun off Capital into Synchrony? There's a Synchrony right down the street from here.
They spun off because they were in a little bit of hot water about how they reported things. But
that's what I'm saying.
It's always nice when you have a financial services company in addition to all these other ones, because you can just play this shell game of like, guess what? Airplanes are doing great. Don't pay any attention to what's happening with the financial services company.
But that's my point. You're talking about a stock. You're talking about a stock that was like $40 a few years ago. It's at $8 right now, and for a reason. And I think it could go to $3. I'm not touching that stuff. But I thought it was funny that in the thread that neither of you guys read, it was when I made that claim that Tesla is probably the biggest revenue growth story in the world right now, because I can't think of one.
What about Baidu?
No. These companies.
There's probably some Chinese companies that are growing fast that we just never hear about.
If you believe, you guys believe Chinese accounting standards. Good for you guys.
No, I didn't say.
Dang, I love this.
I don't. So I'm saying like real companies with real.
Oh yeah, no, I know it's very unnatural. But you were talking about cannibalization.
Mm-hmm.
I figure even if it does, they said the margin on the Y is going to be better than the 3.
Yeah, exactly.
They're so similar. They could probably just start pumping out more Ys on the 3 line. They could probably produce both on one line, or they could do something. It's like a high quality problem, even if it does cannibalize.
He was not talking about changing the 3 line. This was going to be in addition to the 3 line.
No, I know. I'm just saying if it turns out it does cannibalize the 3, that's not such a bad problem because the margins are higher.
Sure.
Because they said it's going to cost the same amount as the 3 to make, but they're selling it for what, like $5K more or whatever?
I think $4 or $5K more.
Yeah, 4.
But yeah, like I think that the 3 is going to sell like crazy in China, and that to me is the other story that people aren't thinking about. You have a company that had X for capacity this year. It's going to be 2X for capacity next year, and then 3X for capacity in 2021. So it's just. I see this like glide path to revenue growth, and with revenue growth, with these margins, with the revenue recognition from leases and from full self-driving revenue recognition, it's a snowball.
Did they say what percentage of the full self-driving stuff did they claim in this?
It's very small.
It was less than 10%.
That's crazy. Wow. So you think all the $6,000 and $7,000 now deposits, those are all just unrecognized right now.
Yeah, and the better it gets, right, more people will pay for that functionality, and the closer it gets to the presumed date that it'll actually like be available. Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure once they have the stoplights and stuff functional in people's cars, a lot more people will be willing to pay for it.
Which they said by the end of the year, which is crazy.
Well, he said
Got
probably in early access.
They currently have
that's
half
still
a
working tech.
Yeah.
I mean, early access.
Yeah.
Early access. You get access to it. It's actually happening.
Yeah, here you go. It says $500 million of accumulated deferred revenue tied to autopilot and full self-driving. And that's just going to keep growing as they sell more cars with FSD. So it's like I said, it's just going to be the snowball effect. And it's gravy. Because this is revenue.
Yeah, the margins will immediately jump on the cars.
Exactly. And it's just cash. That's just cash flow that they can recognize.
There are no what's the board version? Version 3? Version 2, they aren't rolling out new cars right now with version 2. They're all version 3, right?
Yeah.
So there's no work to be done. Like you don't like our car, you'd have to take it in or have it serviced to get the chip.
Yeah.
Yep.
For FSD.
But no, it's really exciting. This is as you know, we're all Tesla bulls here. We all own Tesla stock. Full disclosure, we've owned Tesla stock for a while, and we've been talking about it. We've been talking about how cheap it looked for years. It's nice when there's so much FUD in the world, right? And like it's every day with Tesla now that there's fake news on social media, fake news on CNBC, fake news on Business Insider, Tony's favorite. It's refreshing each quarter when you get real news from the company, real audited financial statements that confirm what you thought was going on. It's refreshing. But now we're back to the FUD. Now it's like Tony said, well, I haven't seen the Model Y details yet, even though you can go to the website and see it. Tesla Q's got to be just in pain right now. They're
going to come up with something.
You think that it's going to keep shooting, the stock will keep shooting up next week because everyone's still covering?
Here's what I think's going on the broader market perspective. It is October 27th while we're recording, right?
Yep.
The fiscal year for hedge funds, for mutual funds, ends October 31st. So if you didn't own Tesla this year, the way to window dress your portfolio is to buy it right now. So the guys who missed this move that want to trick their investors into thinking they own Tesla, they're buying it right now. This is the window dressing period. So I see Apple hitting all-time highs.
Plus, you probably don't want to look like you were short.
Exactly. So you're covering your short. You're covering your short if you were long. Do they even have to tell
that to their clients if they're short?
Oh, they have to disclose whatever transactions occurred.
Yeah,
but most people, they just look at that first page of the statement. And that tells you what you owned, what you're up, what you're down, right? They don't bother scrolling to that fourth page where they bury all the transaction information. But that's what I think's happening here. I think there's some people who didn't, they weren't long Tesla and they feel like idiots, so they're buying it up. Do I think that it can continue next week? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
We hit a new high. Did we go over the 380 ceiling?
Next week? No.
Yeah. No?
No.
What do you mean new high? Is that the high? Yeah.
The all-time high on Tesla stock. Now, I do have to do some chart work on it, but there is a last year was an inside year. Basically, 2017 was a wide range. 2018 traded inside of that range. And then this year, we broke below that range only to go back inside it. So this is a 3-bar. This is actually a 4-bar pattern. Next year, if we break out above the high of this year, it's a buy signal, and it'll be valid for the whole year. So I think next year is shaping up to be really good for Tesla. So it's like one of those things where on any weakness, I want to buy more. If like Trump goes to war with Albania tomorrow,
the company's still small enough that they can sell every car they make.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're making 10 million cars a year.
No,
and they have tons of inventory. They have like almost no inventory.
Yeah, it's like the dealership network, not using it.
That's not true, Adam. I heard the shorts say they're hiding it on ships that they just drive around the ocean.
And then sink.
Yeah, and then they sink. Oh, we can't sell these. Let's just sink them. Yeah.
If they ever get caught, they'll just say they were making artificial reefs to help save the environment.
Yep. Yeah, so
that's a good one. If that one ends up on some conspiracy Twitter account this week, we'll know where it came from.
Yeah, let's jump back into the notes from the conference call.
Wait. So if it hits 420 though, is that a conspiracy? What do we?
It's nothing. It's just a number. I don't know. I think share price is stupid. I don't have these like mythologies around share price. I know that Elon said that 420 was where it was going to go private. I remember being bummed out when he said that because I always had a $700 price target on the stock. I was like, I don't want to sell it 420. I want to sell it like 1400 or
ARK Invest is still saying 4,000, right?
They're crazy. I love them. I love them.
Well, that's like a 5-year target or something.
Yeah.
I love them. They're crazy, but they're adorable. I would not. It's like there's Tesla Q and then there's ARK Invest, and they're both on these like huge sides of the spectrum of crazy in Tesla world. I just think like I can't.
Long term, it could be that though. I mean, I could see them becoming $1 trillion company.
No question. 5 years is a little fast.
Yeah. Well, at 4,000? What is it? 500 billion or something? What would that be?
Sure. I don't know. I'd have to do the math. But either those are those are things you say to make headlines on CNBC. That's really what they're doing, and they're doing a very good job.
Well,
but their research is good. Like I'm not saying
the research is good. I think that's based on the assumption that full self-driving was like working great and.
Yes,
they capture the taxi market.
Yeah, they are. I've seen how they break it down. They apply multiples to different segments of the company, and it's a sum of the parts argument.
I like when they're pressed. I like when they're pressed with questions about like, but why do you think that it can get to 4,000? It always comes back to like, well, we've got this guy who knows a lot about AI, and he says that there's the best. I just like that. There are numbers, like they're doing real research, but I like that things always just come back to we've got this really smart guy that knows stuff.
Well, it is true. Their AI research and development is ahead of every other car company, and very likely ahead of Google, who I would say is the next best tech company in this space.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. We'll see which approach ends up being better.
Yeah, sure.
If Tesla's works, it seems better because it's cheaper to get to this point. They're not paying drivers. It'll immediately cover the whole planet instead of city by city. So if it can work, it will be amazing.
So one of the reasons that I think you can be bullish of Tesla, Elon they asked him like, what are you most excited for, for Tesla besides robot taxis? Elon said Tesla Energy is being underestimated. He said that the energy segment can grow to be the same scale as the automotive segment. I don't think Wall Street believes that at all.
Well, they've always been valuing it at zero.
And I value it at zero. In all my financial analysis, I've just been like, it's not enough of a cash drain to be a negative. It's not enough cash flow to be a positive yet. But what he said on that call, I definitely made note of it because I'm like, this is the part of Tesla Energy, which I guess isn't really technically part of it that I've always been bullish of, is the supercharger network. Because like that's monetizable. And that's leaps and bounds ahead of any other car company, right? Like,
Do you want to cover that when they asked the question on the call about, hey, are you going to partner with any other companies interested? You've always been offering up.
Yeah, he said, where was that?
I just wanted to hear your take on it.
Oh, the idea that, they used to do that. They used to sell powertrains to Mercedes and Toyota.
Yeah, they've done that in the past.
And he mentioned that they already opened their patents up. I think it's one of these things where they're too damn busy putting their powertrains, and into their car.
Yeah, and there's higher margin in it. Do it yourself.
So I think that, sure, they could do it. I don't think it's going to be a revenue driver for years. And I think that the other car companies seem to be very stubborn about A, making EVs, B, making good EVs, and C, acknowledging Tesla. So I don't think that like GM is going to knock on the door of Tesla and be like, hey, can we use your tech? I think that there's like an ego thing behind this.
Well, I thought consensus in the room though was that they were kind of scrambling to answer that question because they potentially already had a deal down the road with somebody, and they didn't want to spoil it by answering the question too honestly.
He said, I think this is his answer. It would be consistent with the mission of Tesla to help other car companies. It is something that we are open to.
But it took kind of a minute to respond. 30
yeah,
seconds
they had to
or
kind of come up with.
Sure. He sat there, and it's Elon. He sits there. His conference calls are great. It's funny how 10 years ago, the must-listen conference call was Apple. Now it's Tesla. Tesla is the conference call that you have to listen to every quarter.
Can we go back for 1 sec real quick, though?
One thing he said that was awesome was that they're going to be a distributed global utility company.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
Tesla Energy.
Well, if we talk about market share, right, we would say like, oh, hey, is it going to will the Y cannibalize the S, X, and 3? It's like, well, potentially a little bit. It doesn't matter because the market's so much larger. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about just ignoring solar and Powerwall sales as, them as an energy company. You're ignoring it, right? Because they're doing, 400 installs a month or something? It's nothing, right? But look at everyone that owns a house. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big market. Think like how much momentum people have, how much momentum there is for people going renewable, right? Saying like,
well, in California in 2020, new construction requires solar, right? We'll be busy just with that.
California is the biggest market per state, right? But look at all the other states where people own houses that are now in renewables. Like people that are researching, what's it going to take to put solar on my house?
Mm-hmm. No, I think
for me to buy more wind.
And Tesla now is the cheapest. Since they've cut prices and offered the rental program and stuff, it's like the cheapest option if you're going to not do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's true.
Plus, it's the easiest. You just go on their website and you're like, click, ordered.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, cool. The total addressable market argument, Tony, that you're making has been valid for Tesla for everything they're doing. I think you look at 360,000 cars, that's nothing. The fleet is what?
Well, I was excited. He said they want to make 20 million a year.
Yeah. That's the goal, is that he wants electric vehicles to take over the fleet. And that's going to take years of making 20 million cars a year. So that's what I'm saying. Like we're on this glide path right now, and we're at 360,000 run rate this year. It'll be amazing to see where we are 5-10 years from now in unit sales. Or I like to say unit sales, but it's cars. But
one of the guys on Twitter who's like hates Tesla, Bertle or whatever, the Volkswagen marketer.
This is bringing him up
I don't want to bring him up, but anyway, he was like complaining. Elon said that the number of cars on Earth is 2 billion. He's like, no, it's not. It's like 1 to 1.3. But I was thinking about, and he was like complaining like Elon's an idiot. And I was like, what, are they instantly going to make 20 million cars? So I Googled, like, when will there be 2 billion cars on Earth? It's like 2030 or 2035, which is probably right about the time that Tesla has any chance of getting the 20 million cars.
Yeah.
It's like...
it's like actually more accurate than even the statement you thought.
Oh, yeah, I know. They nitpick about the dumbest things, and it's not even, like, accurate what they're nitpicking about. Anyway.
No,
it's just funny to me. It's just funny to me that right now you're ignoring the energy sales at all. When to me that's like,
oh no, when I'm talking about when I model Tesla for 2019, 2020.
Oh no, totally, and you have to do that. I just think it's funny. It's like saying, Amazon, however many years ago, they're just into books. Like, just ignore all the other stuff they're trying to do. They're just a bookseller, guys.
A perfect example with Amazon.
They just sell books. They're doing the same thing with Tesla. They're like, they make this niche electric car that nobody wants. It's like the niche electric car that nobody wants is the gateway drug into putting a $20,000 solar roof on your house and making the energy grid more sustainable and resilient.
Your point.
Costing you less for energy.
No, your point's great. It's like ignoring AWS.
Yeah, right.
It's like saying
library books.
Amazon's great for buying books, but this AWS thing, forget about it. It's not that important.
The Mega Pack hasn't even launched yet.
No, it's not.
Then solar grew a lot this quarter. I mean, it had been shrinking for a while, but it actually grew by 40-some%, I think. Right.
I've always described Tesla in the long term as a 21st century GM with an ExxonMobil kicker. So it's like it's both. It's an auto company and it's an energy company, and the acquisition of Solar City made it more of an energy company, but it has not moved the needle financially yet. And I think that that's something that we're going to see in like 3 to 5 years. It's the company. He even said it on the call. They had to focus engineering and other resources on the Model 3 ramp.
Yeah.
Away from Tesla Energy.
He said something really interesting about the solar. They said the cost of acquiring new customers for solar is 1/4 of their competitors.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy because the cost of acquiring customers is one of the highest costs for solar companies.
Yeah.
Because they don't spend anything now. It's just the website. Or like if you walk into the store, they're like, "Oh, we got this thing."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kiosks, right? It's like you threw some mall kiosks around.
Oh no,
they got rid of all that stuff.
Yeah, I just definitely
changing thing, and they're like, it's just this thing. You can have it or not have it. It doesn't affect the car. The car is the thing you want.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to give people the impression that I don't think Tesla Energy matters. I think it does. I just think that when it comes to financial results, right now it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's 100% true. It's just funny that I think of it as like a critical element when I buy the stock. Right?
Well, in 1 or 2 years,
people figure this out, it's
quite large at the growth rate.
This is why I love this stock. There's so much cognitive dissonance surrounding it, and that's why it's probably still a buy at $320 a share. It was a buy at $190. It was a buy at $170. It was a buy at $230. It's probably a buy right now in the long run, but this stock trades so crazily. And it's we only have 4 data points a year that's actually founded in truth, and then the rest of the year, those other 361 days of the year, it's all conjecture, and they like to pick on things. But the near-term things that I'm excited about are still vehicles, because I think that that's the thing that's out there that people see every day. That's the thing. Like I frequently compare this to the iPod days. Like, I remember going to New York City in like 2001 or 2 and just seeing earbuds and being like, holy crap, this thing's taking off, And now, like, there was a Model 3 just a couple weeks ago. How many Teslas did we have in my driveway? 4.
We have 4 Teslas in your driveway.
Yeah, we had, because JB was visiting, Tony was visiting, and then we had my 2. Last week, I saw a Model 3 across the street from my house, just visiting my neighbor. I was parked at Swenson's next to a Model S the other day. So it's like it's happening here in Northeast Ohio where you're starting to see them more. So I think that's the visibility thing. That's the brand visibility part of this. And then there's like a whole other thing to come from Tesla, because it's about sustainable transportation. So we got the transportation part shipping. Now it's about sustainability. And I think that's why, like, someone was telling me, like, oh, man, I'm afraid Elon's going to leave me. I'm like, he's not going to leave. Like, the original plan was to get to the Model 3.
I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid he'll die.
Oh, God.
Some Tesla Q, because some of them are, like, crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they have these massive conspiracies.
Sure.
Right?
I don't know, man. As a longtime Apple shareholder that had to deal with Steve Jobs having cancer for 10 years, like, I just have to roll my eyes when I hear that stuff, because it's like at some point I think Tesla will reach its own kind of glide path, and it won't need Elon as much because like he's done what he needs to do. But my whole thing is like I think at one point the fear was that Elon was going to leave for SpaceX because that's what he cares about more. And I just don't think that's the case anymore. I think he sees Tesla as a means to increase his wealth so that he can then turn around and reinvest into SpaceX.
Like he has to stick around a long time to hit all of his goals, right?
And then, yeah, his stock-based compensation also is tied to a bunch of metrics that he laid out.
He said he wants to spend, 50% of that money building out Mars and 50% fixing Earth or whatever.
Yeah. Just some other little notes from the conference call that I loved. He thinks that the Cybertruck will be the best product ever.
That's pretty exciting. You know what, though? I was thinking about it, since it's such a unique-looking vehicle. That's going to be, just spreading the Tesla name even more. Like the Model X Falcon Wing doors.
Yep. But holy crap, look at this vehicle.
Yeah, holy crap.
Yeah. You're going to have rappers buying it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most important thing the truck might do is convince rural America. First of all, remind them, hey, Tesla's a company that builds things in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of Mexican parts in it, but they're building them here in the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
America.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just gonna remind them, hey, the Tesla stuff that's been out is very much focused at the 1%, and this truck's gonna be very expensive, but you're spending $50,000 on your F-150 or your Ram
or more. A lot of those are way more than that.
Is the Model 3 really targeted at the 1%?
American, man, it's running on American energy. It's gonna convince people that there's this other side to what Tesla's doing that people don't see now, right? It's all factory tours and having your Starbucks at the charging station and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
kind of gonna change. I feel like there'll be a lot more interesting viewpoints.
Yeah, no, and I think Elon kind of talked to that. He said that he compared EV adoption to people upgrading from CRT TVs to HD TVs.
Yeah.
And it's you didn't really care until you saw a reason for it, right? You're like, oh, okay. The Tesla truck, the Cybertruck, I think is going to be one of those things. I know a lot of people that are I'll buy a truck. They're I don't want a car. I don't want the SUV. I want a truck.
Tons of people.
Yeah, especially in Ohio.
When I did the battery event at the Tesla dealership, there were two guys there that were I only drive trucks. I drive them for work, but I'm really excited based on what I've read about this thing. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Once they see the instant torque of the Tesla Cybertruck, they're all going to be sold.
Destroy everything that's out there.
They're just going to be sold.
They'll probably have a ton of unique, cool features too.
Who is the CFO? What's his name? I just kept putting CFO. Is his name Billy or something? I don't know. He sounds like he's 12.
I don't know his name.
CFO Billy said that order rates are strong in all markets, and I just wanted to bring this up because a lot of people like to say that Tesla is dependent on emission credits or tax credits for government. Yeah, Zach. CFO Zach.
He's in his 30s.
He's a young
he's
CFO.
The same age as my cousin who used to work at Tesla, because I think they're friends.
He's a young CFO. Anyway, they brought up emission credits, and I thought that what Elon said was important. He said emission credits are not a large part of our revenue, not exactly a giant percentage. The credit situation in the U.S. is not great. We're not counting on some big windfall. And then the CFO followed up with, we manage the business without counting on emission credits. It's just extra. So it's if Elizabeth Warren wins, you know that these credits are going to go up. So it's
I saw a proposal to give money to people to switch into electric cars by the Democrats. They would give thousands of dollars to people to switch to an electric car.
So this is already a product that doesn't have a demand issue, that's going to have demand stoked by potential financial by potential things that would happen in 2021. Just another reason to be kind of optimistic about it. Because I also like that they're not counting on it. As someone, as shareholders, we don't want them to have to be dependent on the government, because the government in this country is kind of crap. But yeah, I think that was another
understatement of the year.
Kind of crap.
I was just being nice.
We got a city government thing we haven't talked about at all.
Oh yeah, speaking of stickers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all I had to do was call City Hall, the environmental group that works there. There's a team of 3 people that are in that office. So I called them and I had to set up a time where I would pull up to City Hall. They would come outside and inspect my vehicle and give me a sticker where I can park for free at any Cincinnati meter.
Nice.
And one of the big parking lots downtown. So I can literally just park for free all the time now. And it's amazing.
Park free.
And all I had to do was
not
pull
just
up.
Downtown. It's like in any community with city meters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is that
the same in Traverse City, Michigan?
Wait, is that the whole state of Ohio or just Cincy?
Just Cincy.
Ours is just Cincy. I think they may have them in other cities. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
you should contact Canton.
the second we go over the river,
there's like a shortage of parking in Canton.
Well, see, there is. Cincinnati has a major.
No, I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. You guys are a legit city.
Well, you should tell them about you see the people gaming the system, like when you went downtown for an event, like across from the.
So we went to. Friends of mine and I went to Together Live at the Taft Theater, which is like right on the main drag of downtown. And so the Kroger building, which is like huge office building where everyone works in the city besides P&G, which is like a block over. All along that street is it's not meters, but it's got like a kiosk and you can use an app to like park there and you can keep upping your time all day. Mm-hmm. It was like Tesla Row. And they all had their stickers. So, like, everyone knows now. Like, it's starting to grow. And a friend of ours who just got a Tesla, I called them and they made their appointment to get their sticker, like, a couple days after I did mine.
That's great.
That's comparing our permit numbers. Because I was like, I bet you're, like, the next number in line because I bet a lot of people don't know about it. But they were, like, 20-some higher than my number. So I was like, man, I think word's getting out that this is a thing.
But it's going to look like the most progressive city ever. Because all the Tesla people are like, dude, I spend $50 to $80 a month to park downtown. All I have to do is get a Tesla and I can remove that.
That's awesome.
Every street is going to be covered in Teslas. People are going to be like, where are these cars coming from? What are these things? Like, it's going to be the best thing for marketing ever.
It reminds me of the HOV lane in
California.
Because it's crazy. If you're in the HOV lane and you're watching the other one coming at you, it's just Tesla. So it's going to be kind of similar. And it's like these little things, these little incentives do add up and they make the user experience just better.
My parents don't even need a sticker. It's just, I guess, the person's supposed to look and see if it's an EV or not.
Cincinnati won't fall for those tricks.
They're like, I don't know.
The car's got to be inspected. They're going to check for a tailpipe. They're going to check. Don't try to scam them.
Yeah.
Don't buy a Tesla shell and put it over your.
I remember the first time when I had my Model S in Texas and I had to take it in for inspection, they were so confused. They were like, so where's the engine? I'm like, there isn't one. They're like, what? And then they're like, hey, come out here. And like, it was like everyone at this Firestone came out and they're like, explain this to me. There's no engine in this car. There's no oil. Like, what are we exactly checking here? I was like, I don't know, the brakes.
Check out this cool screen.
Yeah, like here's the touch screen. But yeah, it was like an alien pulled up to this place. This is in Sugar Land, Texas, in early 2013. Back before
it was like at Tire Discounters 2 weeks ago.
Exactly, because that's what I'm saying. Like Ohio is like 8 years behind, so it's like whenever I pull up in the X anywhere, people are like, "What the hell is this thing?" Because there's not a whole lot of X's in general, but in Ohio, I don't think it's the most popular. I think there's in my town there's probably 2 X's. I've seen a ton of S's, and boy. The Model 3 shipping, that's all I can tell you. I've seen so many more, and it's exciting. Every time I see one, I've been giving the Tesla nod to people as I cross paths with them. But yeah, it's been outstanding, and I'm just excited. Just one last thing from the conference call. They were asking about cannibalization. We kind of mentioned it earlier. A little tidbit: when they launched Model X, Model S sales increased. And I think that
could happen again.
I think that could happen with 3.
Well, especially with Plaid.
They have such small market share. They can just keep growing like forever.
I think that could happen with the 3 because
not forever, but
look at the Y.
For the time being,
they might change their mind.
Yeah, I think they have like a 10-year glide path.
Yeah.
They just have to stay
I think the 3.
And it, probably every few months, like a significantly larger number of people are willing to consider an EV as for their next vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Right. We mentioned Shanghai Gigafactory. That's exciting. And yeah, I'm kind of curious. You guys have had software version 10 for a while now, right?
Yep. Quite a while. Quite a lot of testing.
So what do you think?
It's awesome. We drove south yesterday. We had probably an hour and a half drive, and I would say 50 minutes of it was karaoke.
Oh, really cool.
To the point where I put earbuds in because I was like, okay, I can't do it anymore.
So this is something that your daughter's really enjoying?
Well, now that she's got glasses, she can actually see the screen from the back seat, which was actually the Tesla helped us diagnose that she wasn't seeing very well.
So she is
another benefit of the
Tesla. In the back seat, like leaning forward, like what? I want to read the song title, but I can't quite see it. So,
do either of you guys have glasses?
Yeah, we all do now.
Okay.
I got one contact lens in. So.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, V10's out. Have you been playing any Cuphead?
I did play Cuphead. It's hard. I've been playing it with a connected Xbox PC. The 360 PC controller.
Sure.
Which works pretty well.
Uh-huh. No, I got one right here.
Just a super hard game, which I'm not much of a... Is it considered a platformer, side-scroller? I don't know what that's considered.
It's a run-and-gun platformer.
Yeah, run and gun.
It's kind of like Contra. And Contra was hard. I never understood why they put Cuphead on that. It's a very difficult game. I would have preferred, I don't know.
I think just the developer contacted Tesla. If I remember, they were like, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
They should rebrand Metal Slug, but they should do it like Tesla people versus shorts. Just change the models to be like...
That'd be cool.
Twitter personalities.
I think Battletoads would have been good.
Oh, Battletoads.
Have you guys watched Netflix on it much or YouTube?
I watched YouTube on it once.
Yeah, I also watched YouTube only once on it.
Because guess what? I have a phone. I can
but the screen and the sound are way better.
Yeah, but I can leave this on while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Super
That's safe.
Well,
whatever. I just put it in my cup holder. I'm not watching it. Like I got,
I know. I'm just kidding. I do the same thing.
I'm just saying. Like, okay, so real quick, we're gonna talk a little bit about Apple here. I got the new phone, right, with the 3 cameras. When I signed into YouTube, because it's my number 1 most used app most of the time. They offered me YouTube Premium. Have you guys heard of this?
They bug me every second of the day to upgrade.
I finally signed up for the trial, Adam. It's great. It's outstanding. There's no ads, and it runs in the background. So I don't even have to have the video on. But I'll like put on Dan Patrick's show or something, and then I'll just drive. YouTube Premium's outstanding in the car. So no, I'm not. I like that it's a feature. I don't like that it's browser based. I think that's annoying. That's probably my biggest complaint. It should be a native app. It would probably be a better experience.
Yeah, but then they have to worry about updating it and crap. Where if it's just through the browser, they don't have to do anything.
Clearly, it's just not.
No, but I mean, it'll always be up to date. Right.
No, that's fair. But I don't think the browser's that great. It's kind of slow. My internet's not really that fast here. When I'm driving around town. So it's not the best experience. I'd rather just use my phone for YouTube is what I'm saying. And I don't really watch Netflix in the car. I guess the last time I did was when I was driving a long distance. I think I threw on Netflix and just kind of left it in my cup holder. I don't watch things. I just listen to things. I try to listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff. So I don't necessarily watch while I'm driving. I think that's dangerous. I agree with what Tony is saying. But
no, you can't watch in the Tesla though. Only when it's parked.
With this, you can. Is my point.
Oh,
so
it's
that's why I'm like.
Just grab that extra window mount, and you gotta.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I just think it's fine, and I like that games are coming to. I think games make more sense than YouTube, honestly. Like I'm more into, because like how hard is it to have, like, how many families have an iPad and they just hand their kid the iPad?
All of them.
Know? So it's like YouTube and Netflix, that's not a killer app to me. But like being able to play games in there is kind of cool. And the fact that the games are free, that's outstanding. Like, Tony, you weren't going to buy Cuphead, were you?
No, Cuphead is not a game I'd buy.
But you're playing it because it's free. So it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. I'd like to see this platform continue to evolve. I always wanted like an app store for Tesla because I thought that, hey, it's a captive group of rich people who would buy whatever app I made. The one that I wanted to make was, and you guys can steal this idea if you're out there listening to this, but like basically a shopping list app. Be like, hey, I need to buy these things, and then like Tesla would it would be like an app to run on top of the map, and then it would basically create a path for you to get all the things you need.
Hey, Maps got much better. Speaking of version 10,
Maps just keeps getting better. Maps shits all over Apple Maps. It's not even funny. Tesla Maps is exactly what Apple should have done. They should have used the back end from Google, made their own front end, made their own algorithm that runs on top of the back end of Google. But instead, Apple did whatever the hell Apple wanted to do.
Well, but there are privacy people that like how Apple did it because they're not constantly updating with live data, so it's not as invasive with their collection of information. But it's also that makes it not as good.
Exactly. I think when it comes to mapping, collection of data is kind of the point.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I think Apple's up their own butt with that stuff. They had a map. It worked fine. Like the old Google Maps on Apple iOS 5.3.1, right? Before they ruined everything.
Yeah.
That YouTube app was the best YouTube app. And that Maps app.
I like the current YouTube app.
It took them 6 years to get to a decent YouTube app from the original one that they had on iOS. I thought that when Apple made the front end and Google provided the back end, it was a better user experience for everyone. And we don't have that anymore. But where we do have it is at Tesla. The map is great. I completely agree. It's outstanding. But
I'm feeling.
They added a lot of useful features to it.
I'm feeling hungry button has not let me down yet. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
Amazing. I have discovered new places to eat.
The problem in Canton is there's just so few places to eat. And I probably know
got a few more restaurants, I think.
I probably know all of the places already. So I don't use that.
It's super cool. I found a bunch of places or just been reminded of places I had forgotten about. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of new restaurants in Cincinnati. So for me,
have you done the I'm feeling lucky button?
For the hungry button, I have. The lucky button was very impressive. The last time I tested it, the first actually time I tested it, it pointed us to like 3 of our favorite places to go in Cincinnati. So right away it was like, oh, this obviously works. Because if I weren't me and I went to any one of these 3 places, First of all, the first one it ever showed me was the Cincinnati Zoo, which has free solar roof charging.
Oh, nice.
I think they're the only carbon negative zoo in the country.
Well, that's what they get.
Gorilla poop.
They're
even though San Diego and Columbus win all the awards.
They're trying to make up for all that negative karma from murdering Harambe in cold blood. Just saying, Cincinnati. Never forget.
Do they have a statue?
R.I.P. Harambe.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. That's the show. Sarah already rage quit.
She did.
I don't think it was out of rage. Probably had to take care of your kid.
She doesn't care about that Gigafactory.
She's like, whatever.
She's like, I'm not going to get to drive it, so what do I...
But my favorite quote out of the whole conference call was when Elon was throwing shade at his own products.
The S and X?
Yeah. He's like, oh, man, what did he say exactly?
Well, that just showed, like...
Yeah. He said the Model X and S are really niche products. To be totally frank, we continue to make them more for sentimental reasons than anything else. I'm just like, can you imagine another CEO saying that about a product? No.
You're not going to hear the Volkswagen exec saying that about the
Jetta.
Proton or whatever that W8 car that piece of trash they made was.
You imagine like Tim Apple over there. He's like, yeah, we're still making the iPhone 8, but it kind of sucks. Like he wouldn't say it. He's like, it's magical, like PR BS. Like Elon does not have that filter. That's what I think so charming about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like I said, those are the little nuggets that you can get from reading that article I posted. I'm gonna keep doing that. Transcribing the conference calls. I think it's useful.
No, that's useful.
And I was talking to Tony about it last night. Like maybe we'll do a live stream reaction to the next earnings.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll pull up the chart or something, and then we can all get on some sort of video chat. I know it'll be early in the morning for you, Adam, but yeah, this was a great quarter. I
always wake up for it.
I know. This is a great quarter, though. It's a great time to be a Tesla shareholder again.
Hey, it's always been a great time. Just no one else realized that. And
this is
35% short owned. So
I gotta say, Tony, being up $90 a share from my basis feels a little better than being flat, which was like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. You had to wait 2 weeks.
No,
did you ever buy more shares or no?
No, and I'm kicking myself over it.
I bought more, but I was lamenting to Asif when it hit 307. I was like, I feel like I need more now.
Mm-hmm. And you probably should have bought some because it went up.
I wouldn't say that Asif talked me out of it, but I was like, I just feel like we're never going to be here again. Is what I really feel like, which is a bad way to.
That's possible.
But
I mean, once China's pumping out cars,
I think that you guys
company's substantially bigger.
50% of a stock's move is based on its own news and its own fundamentals. 50% of a stock's move is based on the stock market. And 100% of the stock market's move is based on Donald Trump right now.
It's based on insanity.
So he is the wild card. If impeachment or China breakdown in talks or war or whatever he does,
all of them at once.
It causes short-term panics in the stock market. And Tesla being a high PE, high valuation company, it gets hit too. This stock is going to trade a lot like Apple did 20 years ago. So on those days, or like here's an example. A Tesla crashes into a tree and catches on fire, and it's on the front page of CNBC the next day. Stock's down $20. That's when you buy the stock. You wait for these opportunities when the FUD and CNBC and all these things align, and they lead to a 10% sell-off in the stock for no good reason. That's when you buy it. And it feels like crap every time you do it because you're like, oh, God, it could go lower, right? But, yeah, I do feel like, dang, I should have bought more. But
what's the new floor going to be? Is it going to be 300?
I doubt it.
There was so much resistance. I felt like
those are just numbers, man. I don't believe in horizontal resistance. There's now an uptrend, so that uptrend is going to be intact until it breaks down. That's kind of how I look at things. It's a series of broadening formations. There is no just flat number. 300 is just a round number. That's it. And people who use stop orders, sure, they use round numbers, and they're idiots. You shouldn't use stops. Buy put options instead. Because in a market that's this psychotic, don't use stops. You get stopped out at 10 in the morning, and you come back, and the stock's above your stop.
Yeah.
That's how fast things move. So, yeah, I would – if you're really concerned, buy some put options. I'm not.
I'm just going to hold it for a long-ass time.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with my –
One of my favorite things to do is to check tipranks.com. They currently have Tesla listed as a hold. So there are some analysts of the 25 they track that have flip-flopped a bit. There's 8 buys, 8 holds, and 9 sells. So there's still one more sell than there are holds or buys for it. Mm-hmm. The price target has been moved up to 275. Mm-hmm. I believe it was 240. Mm-hmm. The low is 140, and the high is 400 for those 25 analysts that they track. So that's one of my favorite things to do is to check them because they're so behind.
No, I know. Oh, analysts are idiots. But like,
well, that's like Adam Jonas who had the $20 price target for it.
Yeah.
And then like a few days ago, he's like, no one's better positioned than Tesla.
These guys it's clickbait. And honestly, why would you listen to an analyst who works at a brokerage house?
Right.
Like, why? Like, why would you, like, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, don't listen to any of them. Like, listen to, you know, who's been dead right about this is Gene Munster. He's been spot on with Tesla. And oddly enough, you know what Gene is known for? His work at Apple, covering Apple for 20 years and being the hammer on Apple, being a permabull on Apple, and how'd that work out for Gene? Pretty damn great. Gene Munster's the guy to watch. I don't really, what's that guy? He always gets crapped on. He's Gerber. Yeah, Ross Gerber.
Yeah.
He gets crapped on.
One of my favorite Twitter follows.
Yeah, Ross Gerber gets crapped on all the time. He's good to watch. He's good to listen to. And I'm not just picking Tesla bulls. Like, one thing I'll say about that could be a negative, because I try, I'm a bull, but I try, whenever I'm long a stock, I try to create the negative case.
Of course. Devil's advocate.
Yeah. The thing that I worry about, and it's not, I'm not hugely worried about it. The Shanghai ramp of the Model 3 could create a quarter where they're not profitable, or they spend more money than they bring in. And that would be just pounced on by Tesla Q and the media. They'll be like, look, Tesla can't make cars in China at a profit either. So like, I feel like because of the nature of how production ramps work and the lumpiness of research and development expenses, I think that there's a potential in the next 9 months, 6 months of one quarter where they have negative cash flow. And
if you're planning on buying shares, well, that would just be good.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, is that would be the time to buy it. So those would be those. Like, I'm trying to think about what could possibly go wrong, because everyone right now thinks the stock's gonna go right back to 386. I don't. I think that this is it. This is the end of fiscal year kind of movements in the fund managers. But watch the end of this. Watch December. Watch the stock through December, and then I'll probably post some sort of video at the end of December where I look at the technical setup on the chart for the year coming up. But yeah, I do think that the one risk is the Shanghai ramp costing more than expected. But so far, it seems like Shanghai is more efficient and happening better than expected. So
they did it once already, so
that's true. He even said it in the conference call. Morgan Stanley, actually, it was Adam Jonas's Padawan. He said, "Is it a fair assumption that Model 3 in China will be sold? Will be the most profitable car you sell?" He said it's hard to forecast. And then they asked about the ramp. Elon said, he said targeting 3,000 units, but we saw a ramp in Model 3 was lumpy. How smooth should we expect production to be in the Shanghai factory? Elon said it should be smoother than the Model 3 Fremont ramp. It'll be a very rapid and steady ramp. So that's what kind of raised alarm bells in my head. The rapidity of it could lead to more cash being invested at that point, and that could lead to negative cash flow in one quarter. That's all I'm saying.
The factory's operational.
Cool. All I heard was
they already put in all the equipment.
Yeah, all I heard you say was another buying opportunity. Yeah, and that's an important point, Adam, about build. What did you just say about building? How do you build it out? You're starting from scratch.
They are building out the battery factory portion of it.
Yeah, but the machinery's been purchased. True. It's already in there. You see it in the pictures. Like when you're setting those lines up from scratch, it's not the same as buying an old factory and repurposing it. You're putting the lines exactly how they need to be to maximize efficiency.
And you're dead right.
Driving 30 less feet when they go from this machine to that machine. Like there's all these huge gains.
Everything that they ran into last year during the Model 3 ramp and this year during the Model 3 ramp, they already experienced. So they can now future-proof it with this new build-out. So the hope
well,
is
it's possible
if
they find that what's working better, they can go back to Fremont and tweak Fremont to be more similar to the Chinese factory.
Exactly.
For the new stuff they're building out, yes. For the Ys, I agree with that. Not for
Yeah.
the existing lines. It's one of the reasons he's kind of crapping on the S and X, because like those lines are built. It's not efficient in that factory. Stuff's moving back and forth, and the robots are taking these crazy routes to bring the seats to where they need to be for the just-in-time delivery and all that stuff. Like starting fully from scratch, I agree with that, but not for existing. So, it's just too expensive to move those machines and equipment.
That's the little bit of cold water that I'll pour on this earnings report.
All I heard you say was buying opportunity. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm probably going to double my position in this stock when that happens. No, I used to own more shares than I do right now, and I wish I still had them. But I've been in and out of this stock a couple times over the past 3 years, but I'm not going out this time. I'm pretty much here, and I just want to add to it. It was just funny. The stock kept bouncing off of my basis. Remember, it was like 230. It would go up to 260, it'd go back down to 230, and I'm like, I should probably buy some, but I wanted to lower my basis like a greedy investor. So I don't know, but I think it's a good meaty podcast after a 8-month break.
How long was that?
No shortage of amazing stuff going on.
Yeah, lots of cool things. I think the last time we recorded, Adam, I was in Japan with you, so it was a while.
That is correct.
That was quite some time ago. That's the show. This was 9to5 Elon episode 5, which is actually our 6th episode. You can go to shacknews.com to read more about Tesla, gaming news, tech news, all sorts of good stuff. You can find Adam at long_Elon on Twitter. You can find Tony and Sarah at Tesla Fudge on Instagram and Twitter. Sarah kind of mans the Instagram, Tony kind of mans the Twitter, but they kind of speak for each other, right? Isn't that kind of how it goes?
So I've been really struggling saying I versus we.
It's a challenge.
I got to get her to consent before I say we.
Yeah.
So there's certain posts that say I.
If you say I, you should just put -T at the end of it so people know.
Yeah, everyone will get that.
That's what I can tell you.
Like that.
That's a very good point. That's what a lot of brand accounts do. I can tell you. But brand accounts.
It's not that complicated.
Oh yeah, I got banned by Steve Jobs on Twitter for calling him out for not being Steve Jobs. Yeah, he thought iPhone launched in 2008, and I called him out on it. Come on.
Yeah, he blocked you, didn't he? I forgot about that.
He blocked me.
He's been having some major troubles with shorts.
Good.
He keeps getting banned.
Yeah, he keeps getting banned on Twitter.
Get him. He's a bum. I'm sorry. You can't take the heat. Can't take the heat. Get out of the kitchen, man. I can say that. I own this YouTube channel and this website. Tesla Truth. Come at me, bro. You already banned me. What are you gonna do?
I don't.
Is that you from the Shacknews account? You haven't banned that one yet.
Omar is an important Tesla personality.
He is not. He's just some jaboofer. I can't even. When he tweets out incorrect information, I'm gonna call him out on it. And I was just like, when iPhone launched in 2008, I'm like, so you're Steve Jobs. It was the anniversary of Steve Jobs' death, and he's talking all about, I'm Steve Jobs. Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, no, I couldn't. I had enough. As someone who actually knows the history of Apple, I couldn't take it. And it's just, I think I said you should probably change your account name. I think that's what led to my ban.
He does way more good than harm. His comedy misses the mark sometimes. Let's review him right now. I feel like we should review.
0 out of 10 would not Shacknews again.
No,
he might be worse than
He just misses the mark sometimes.
He might be worse than WWE 2K20.
Oh my gosh!
Have you seen that? Have you seen that? Oof.
I'm not the guy you want to review a wrestling game.
No, but have you seen the game? It's hilariously bad.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it, but maybe for the next podcast, your guys' cars will be faster.
Oh, yeah?
5%.
And have more range.
5% for me, 3% for you. So.
Yeah.
I have no problem with range already, so I'll take it. Cool. Well, that's it, right? Oh yeah, and then you can find us on youtube.com/ShackNewsGames. That's where this video will go up. Yeah, I already gave you guys Twitter. Oh yeah, I'm at TechnoSucks on Twitter. You can follow us at Shacknews on Twitter. What else? Oh yeah, we're on iPod, or not iPod. What the hell is it called?
On iPod.
We're on the iPod.
Do they still make iPod Touch, or is it dead?
They do make an iPod Touch.
Oh,
I
boy.
wish,
And
honestly,
it's magical.
Honestly, if they made one of these, like the 3-camera thing with an iPod Touch, I'd buy that instead of the phone. The phone is, it's okay. But yeah, what is it? Yeah, we're on the podcast app. I think is what it's called now, right? Because they killed iTunes. And we're also on Stitcher, on Google Play, some other podcast facilities.
Podcast Pickle.
We're not on podcast. Podcast Pickle's
Oh,
dead, Tony.
not yet.
It's dead, Tony. I'm sorry.
Don't say
Are
that.
we on MySpace?
We are not on MySpace. Yeah, that's it. I think that's the show. I think we're done. We're done here. I gotta post some more things. I gotta edit this video and then do some more stuff for Shack News. Gotta get this computer up and running right here.
Did it
Crank
break?
it up.
Yeah,
Crank it up to 11.
we're doing a charity stream next week on Saturday for Extra Life. If you guys are interested in tuning in, it'll be twitch.tv/Shacknews. Got some staff coming into Canton for it, so it'll be pretty exciting.
Ooh. You can do a
wanna
sleepover on the floor.
Yeah, with Lola. You want to come?
You don't have to sleep on the floor anymore, Adam. The rooms are all set up. You can sleep on a gurney.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
right. We do have several exam tables.
Medical marijuana room.
Yeah, there are several
Infirmary.
several exam tables that are going to be repurposed to Cam Girl when we pivot to
Oh, I
Cam
don't
Girl.
like that.
We haven't done the pivot to Cam Girl.
You could get profitable that way.
that's the break the glass plan.
Instant profitability.
Right now, I am just trying to ship out hoodies as fast as I can because this was the Nintendo Switch of 2018, but now it's 2019 and we're still running out of stock. So it's been crazy. I'm trying to get it out to our ultra mega Mercury subscribers as fast as possible, which neither of you guys are. So don't worry about it.
I would
Just
accept
saying.
a free subscription.
Really?
He did fix your office pretty
I
nice.
gave him a Switch Lite.
Yeah, I got a Switch Lite for that. I got
Really?
Look at this
Yeah.
microphone.
Oh, yeah.
I gave you
did
both
get...
microphones and Switch
Come
No,
on,
Lights.
do I sound good?
You sound
This-
great.
This 20-year relationship is really paying off.
It's finally the
Really
dividends
paying
are.
off for me. I have a
Dividends.
podcast microphone and a Switch Lite,
Yeah, things are finally starting to come up Millhouse for you guys.
which, by the way, because
I got it.
you saw how
Shacknews
long
hoodie.
we've been down here on this
Or-
podcast.
Yeah.
Been watching the whole time, obviously.
Mhm.
The kid has probably been on the Switch Lite this entire time.
So is she playing kart?
Yeah, just Mario Kart.
She likes it?
She sets up Tesla Hot Wheels cars on the floor and makes us play real life Mario Kart with Hot Wheels cars.
Okay, that's amazing.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, those are my two favorite things right now, so it's kind of amazing to hear.
Emma
You need to
drew
get Breath of the Wild, Tony, for the love of
I-
God.
Yeah,
I
do that.
know.
I'm just gonna throw a cartridge at you next time you're here if you don't, because I'm like, that game is brilliant, and that's the game for you. The only
I
game on
know.
that system for
I
you.
know.
You have
I
to
watch
do it.
people play it.
It's not the same. Once
I
you get
know.
to play it, you get to experience that. Once
It's
you come out of the
it's
cave,
another time commitment.
it's.
If you want higher
Yeah,
quality,
he's got to
Tesla
wash his car.
Oh wait, so if you
want
play
higher
Breath of the
quality
Wild,
Tesla
is
fudge.
it going to
I
be
can't
like
Breath of the
10
Wild.
weeks until the next podcast?
If you want higher quality Tesla fudge, I can't get Breath of the Wild.
Fine.
I
I'll
can't
just
do
keep
it. I
playing.
can only do one or the other. I'm at the limit.
Yeah, it's like Twitter and Chatty. Boom, boom.
Just go to the charity stream and just play it there.
Yeah,
Maybe you can finish it.
yeah. Or
Is
donate
it
to charity.
24 hours? How many hours are you doing?
Yeah, we're gonna do it 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. and
Oh, I
it's
love
daylight
that.
and it's daylight savings, so it's actually 25 hours.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Are you going to try to stay up for the whole time?
Yeah,
We got to get those other signs up. By the way, that sign looks really good behind you.
it
Oh,
does,
it does
right?
look good.
That looks really nice.
Hey.
That wall looks great. That sign looks great.
No, thank you for patching all the walls. Hey, I moved in my music equipment into one of the rooms.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You can be really loud in there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm here when no one else is, so probably. Yeah. But I also usually just make music in my headphones, so especially if I'm going to be.
Yeah. You got a lot of room buffers between.
Really because technically there's no shared wall.
Yeah.
And there's a wall pointing out to the parking lot. So I don't know. I still want to soundproof it down the road, but yeah, it should be fine.
We could do that on the cheap too.
Yeah, it's just about getting foam and taping it to the wall, basically.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Go to shacknews.com and follow us on all those social medias that I already shouted out. At @long_Elon, at Tesla Fudge, at TechnoSucks, at Shacknews.
Woohoo.
Bye. Okay.
Bye.